So those of you that have been following the channel know that I love technology as a whole, especially when it revolves around home. I just love home automation. I just think the fact that you can have a smart outlet, a smart LED light, a lot of different types of smart tech within your home, I think it's a brilliant thing. And now I have a smart pillow, which was sent over by the good people over at Zeek for me to try out and for me to share my experience with you guys. Now, a little fun fact, this pillow was actually designed by a couple of guys that thought it would be a great idea to put in a couple of smart sensors, gyroscopes, a couple of speakers inside, and just a bunch of tech to make this smart pillow. And they decided to share it with the world and do a Kickstarter project. Their goal was to hit $50,000, and within 16 hours, they met their goal. In fact, they made pretty much over $400,000 within the Kickstarter project. So by the time you're watching this video, which was pretty much back in July of 2016 when they did the Kickstarter, everybody pretty much has their pillow. And this is actually a pretty dope pillow, which I'm gonna talk about. Now, inside the box, you get the pillow, of course, you get a charger that has a lot of different types of outlets or plugs, really, so that you can use them in international. So whether you're traveling around the world or if you live some part of the country, it has all the different sockets or little plugs so that you can connect with it. You also have filling so that you can add more to it. Now, for me personally, I had to take some of that filling out because it was just way too much. I personally like a softer pillow as opposed to more firmer, but again, that's personal preference. You also get a pillowcase and a quick start guide. And by the way, setting this pillow up is very easy. All you need to do is download an app. It doesn't matter if you're using an iPhone or if you're using an Android phone. It works really easily. All you do is download the Zeek app, create an account, and then after that, your pillow will start to communicate with your smartphone. Now, what makes this pillow so smart and special? Well, for one, I remember I told you guys it has a whole bunch of different sensors, microphones that basically monitor the way you sleep. It detects if you're snoring, it monitors how much or how many times you move, and then at the end of your sleep cycle, or by the time you wake up, it sends that data over to your smartphone and it gives you a score based on the quality of sleep. So basically it works very similar to like a Fitbit. So for example, the Fitbit, it tracks your walking, it tracks your heartbeat, well, depending on which model you have, or a smartwatch, and it sends that information over to your smartphone. Now, when you wake up, you look at the score, and I'll show you guys within the app how it looks. So for example, on Sunday, the night of April 23rd, I got a score of 90, which is actually pretty good. In fact, you can see here, and it tells me the decibel levels of my snore. So I averaged about 57, which is actually really good. And then over here on this like orange graph, it tells me how much I moved. So for example, if I go ahead and push over here on Monday, which was the following day, I got a sleep score of 92. Now 92 is actually better obviously than 90. And I'm gonna go ahead and push on this graph to give you more of a time base. So you can see here the graph. The green side is the decibel meters of my snore, and then the bottom side is how much I was moving. So it tracks your movement and stuff like that. So right here, I almost hit about 100 decibels. That is pretty loud. Now, what's cool about this is that this pillow has microphones that are constantly listening to you snore. And then when it reaches a certain threshold, which you specify, it will actually give a little gentle vibration that basically tells you, it's probably a good idea to move. And as you can see here, right around, I want to say what was like around 4:30 or so, I got to almost 100 decibels, which is pretty loud. And then here's my movement. I basically moved, okay? Same thing happened over here. It was almost the time when I woke up, which is around 7:30. I started to snore again to about 90 decibels, and the pillow just gave me that little gentle vibration, and I pretty much moved, and I'm not interrupting my partner, which is basically the key. Is a lot of times my wife is pushing me, telling me stop snoring. She basically told me I didn't have to nudge you, I didn't even hear you. So definitely works. You can turn this off within the app. Now, one of my favorite features, and I'm gonna be honest, I was actually a bit skeptical, is this has 8 internal speakers. It's got 4 on this side, and then if you flip it over, it's got another 4. Now, what's cool about this is that you can stream music, you can stream your podcast or whatever it is that you like to listen. But here's where I was very skeptical, is the fact that you can listen to this music or podcast and you're not gonna interrupt your partner. But it sounds like you have a set of earbuds or headphones put on. Really, really cool. Another thing that you can do is set a timer. So for example, I set mine for 30 minutes. So I wanna make sure that after 30 minutes, the music shuts off, and then I can just transition over to sleep, which is kind of cool because I don't have to worry about grabbing my smartphone, turning the music off. So it does that automatically. And you can set whatever time you want. If you want 35 minutes, 45 minutes, all optional. Another thing that's really cool is that if your smartphone, let's say it's on the nightstand, the speaker's a little bit too loud, you wanna bring the volume down a little bit or bring it up, it has a controller here. This is where you charge it to. So you charge it, or you can also has a little plus and minus where you can adjust the volume, which is actually cool. Now, in terms of charging, this has a built-in 5,000 milliamp power bank or battery power. And in my testing, I was able to get about 10 to 11 days of usage. And now this is also streaming music. And of course you can get a lot longer time if you don't stream music, but I don't really know why you wouldn't do that, because I think that's one of the killer features of this pillow. Now, the other thing that it does have is it has this little smart awake. So basically, if you set your alarm to 7 o'clock, that's another thing that my wife hates about me, is that I typically wake up a little bit earlier than her. So in the morning, it doesn't wake her up because I am the one that's listening to that alarm or the vibration. She's not getting interrupted, so my alarm doesn't go off. So that's something that's really cool. And another thing is that it has some sort of like smart awake. So if it detects, let's say I set my alarm for 7 o'clock, and if it detects that maybe 6:50, 6:45 is a better or more optimal time for me to wake up, it will actually do that, which is really cool. I've actually, I've experienced that with this pillow, and I feel a lot better. Really, really cool. So again, this pretty much does everything as advertised. However, I do have a couple of gripes after using this pillow for probably almost close to a month now. Number one is you do have to remember to set the sleep mode whenever you go to bed. So for example, if I want to go to bed, let's say right now, I need to go ahead and push on start sleep. So let me go ahead and do that and show you guys. Go ahead and back up here and go to home. So right here it says start sleep. So if at night I forget to push that button, it's not gonna track any data. So that's something that's kind of a little bummer, because sometimes I do forget to initiate that. If there was a way, maybe through software update, where you can set a schedule, that would be something that I would recommend that they do. The other thing, a little small gripe too, is the app sometimes takes a little bit long to respond. So for example, if I push on start sleep right now, let me go ahead and just hit next, start sleep. It may take sometimes even up to a whole entire minute for it to process that information. So at night when you're tired, you don't want to just be holding your phone, making sure it went through. So that's another thing. And again, this is all small little minor complaints that I feel that they can fix via software update. And I've tried this both on Android and iOS. So there it goes. It finally kicked in and it's tracking now, and I can go ahead and just hit stop sleep and it'll work. So overall, very cool pillow, very nice, smart tech. I never thought I would ever charge my pillow, and of course, all of the cool tech behind this. I'm gonna leave more information down below in the description if you guys wanna check it out for pricing and availability. Follow me on Snapchat for behind the scenes. Thanks again for watching, and you will catch me in the next one. Adios.